What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Talk. Today, let's get started with Ilia Topuria recently shared his candid thoughts on Jack Della Madalena's performance against Islam Makhachev, expressing clear disappointment in how the former welterweight champion handled the fight. Speaking in an interview with Alvaro Colmenero following UFC Qatar, Topuria did not hold back as he broke down what he saw from both athletes inside the cage. According to Topuria, Jack Della Maddalena appeared unusually passive, almost as though he had mentally checked out from the moment the fight began. He explained that he expected the former champion to rise to the occasion and bring a competitive, high-pressure fight to Makhachev. Instead, he felt JDM offered zero resistance, displaying a lack of urgency and unwillingness to engage in meaningful exchanges. In Topuria's view, this was far more disappointing than anything Makhachev did. Topuria also gave his assessment of Islam Makhachev's performance, stating that the newly crowned welterweight champion fought exactly the way he always does, safe, calculated, and, in his opinion, extremely boring. He criticized Islam for prioritizing positional control and risk-averse strategy over entertainment value, arguing that the champion consistently ignores the expectations of the audience in favor of sticking to a predictable, cautious game plan. Despite these criticisms, Topuria made it clear that he hopes to face Makhachev in the near future. He expressed strong confidence in how that matchup would unfold, claiming that Islam would find himself in unfamiliar territory against someone with his speed, explosiveness, and finishing instinct. Topuria predicted that Makhachev would become very desperate as he struggled to secure dominant positions and attempted to slow the pace of the fight. In contrast, Topuria believes he would bring far more energy and a much more dangerous offensive threat, ultimately leading to a finish. He concluded by stating that if the fight ever materializes, fans would witness a version of him fully prepared to put Makhachev to sleep, an outcome he is certain he would achieve. Before we jump into the next story, we have a small favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon. It really helps us out, and ensures you'll never miss an update. Move on to another news. Arman Tsarukyan has once again made headlines, this time issuing a strong and unmistakable warning to reigning featherweight champion Ilia Topuria. During a recent interview conducted while Tsarukyan was traveling aboard his private jet, the rising lightweight contender spoke confidently and aggressively about a potential matchup with Topuria. His comments quickly gained traction across the MMA community due to their intensity and the clear message behind them. According to Tsarukyan, the rivalry between him and Topuria stems not only from competitive ambition but from a growing belief that Topuria has been overestimating his own abilities. Tsarukyan expressed frustration with what he sees as Topuria's inflated self-image and constant dismissive remarks directed at other top contenders. In responding to those remarks, Tsarukyan chose not to mince words. He stated that if the two ever meet inside the octagon, he intends to impose his will from the opening moment. Speaking with unwavering confidence, Tsarukyan described the type of performance he envisions delivering against Topuria. He emphasized that he would use his trademark pressure, grappling strength, and relentless pace to overwhelm the champion. He specifically mentioned that elbows would play a major role in his game plan, predicting that they would allow him to inflict serious damage, open cuts, and eventually secure a stoppage victory. He explained that a TKO finish is not simply an ambition, but an outcome he finds realistic given the stylistic matchup. Beyond the technical aspects, Tsarukyan's comments highlighted a deeper conviction that he is physically stronger, more durable, and far better conditioned than Topuria. He believes that as soon as the fight becomes grueling, and he insists he would make it grueling, Topuria would begin to fade. Tsarukyan pointed to his own history of pushing elite opponents to their limits as evidence that he thrives in chaotic, high-pressure situations. He concluded by reiterating that if the UFC ever books the fight, fans should expect a dominant performance from him, one that would silence doubts, expose Topuria's weaknesses, and end decisively. For Tsarukyan, the message is simple. He is ready, he is confident, and if the opportunity comes, he plans to break the champion's will and finish the fight in violent, definitive fashion. Move on to another news. Song Yadong has officially taken the next major step in his UFC career, as new footage circulating online appears to show the rising bantamweight contender signing the contract for his upcoming fight. The moment, which quickly spread across social media platforms, has fueled widespread speculation among fans regarding who his next opponent will be, and the clues provided in the video strongly suggest that a high-stakes matchup is on the horizon. In the footage, Song Yadong can be seen opening a package delivered delivered to him by mail. Inside was a formal document, widely believed to be a UFC bout agreement for his next appearance inside the octagon. What immediately caught the attention of viewers, however, were the training dummies positioned behind him, each decorated with printed cutouts of two prominent names in the bantamweight division, Umar Nurmagomedov and Sean O'Malley. This deliberate choice did not go unnoticed, leading fans and analysts to theorize that Yadong's next opponent is almost certainly one of these two elite fighters. The inclusion of Umar Nurmagomedov's image suggests a potential matchup that fans have long discussed, especially given Umar's undefeated record and his reputation as one of the most dangerous grapplers in the division. A fight between Song and Umar would represent a classic striker versus wrestler showdown and could have major implications for the top of the bantamweight rankings. On the other hand, the appearance of Sean O'Malley's likeness hints at an even bigger possibility, a high-profile showdown against the former bantamweight champion. A matchup with O'Malley would not only generate massive buzz but would also serve as a significant opportunity for Song to take a leap toward title contention. O'Malley's star power, combined with Song's aggressive style, would make the fight one of the most anticipated in the division. While the UFC has yet to make any official announcement, Yadong's playful display, and his confident reaction, suggest that he already knows the magnitude of the matchup he has agreed to. Fans are now eagerly awaiting confirmation, with many expressing excitement at the prospect of Song Yadong stepping into one of the biggest fights of his career. Whether it is Umar, O'Malley, or a surprise opponent, one thing is clear: Song Yadong is preparing for a major test, and the bantamweight division is about to get even more interesting. Move on to another news. Jon Jones has once again made waves in the MMA world after new footage surfaced of him grappling with Khamzat Chimaev during his recent trip to Russia. What began as a casual training session has now sparked serious talk of a potential grappling match between the two stars, something Jones himself appeared willing to entertain. Jones traveled to Russia to attend the birthday celebration of Ramzan Kadyrev's son and, according to his own posts on X, to finalize a major ambassador deal during his stay. Videos also emerged showing Jones signing documents believed to be connected to an apartment in Grozny, the capital of Chechnya. It remains unclear whether Jones purchased the apartment or if it was gifted to him, but the footage added another layer of intrigue to his visit. While in Russia, Jones linked up with Khamzat Chimaev, and the two engaged in a light grappling session captured by Instagram user Rizvan82. The clip quickly circulated online, impressing fans after Chimaev managed to secure a clean takedown on the former UFC light heavyweight champion. The moment drew praise even from Jones, who responded on X by writing that Khamzat is the real deal, and acknowledging that the takedown was legitimate. He added that grappling on concrete limited his options, but he appreciated the hospitality and said he would never forget his time in Chechnya. Jones also commented on the ongoing tension between Chimaev and Ian Gary, suggesting Gary might be in trouble, and going on to praise Chimaev's mindset, describing him as humble, focused, and incredibly driven. Jones mentioned that after dinner, Chimaev told him he still had a 4-hour drive back into the mountains for training, something Jones admired. Following the release of the video, Rizvan82 claimed that Jones wanted a rematch with Chimaev because he wasn't satisfied with how the session went. According to a translated post, Jones even verbally agreed to participate in a competitive grappling match if the opportunity arises. With both fighters showing interest, fans are now buzzing about the possibility of a high-profile grappling showdown between Khamzat Chimaev and Jon Jones, an event that would undoubtedly draw massive attention from the MMA community. Move on to another news. Former UFC middleweight champion Robert Whittaker has shared his thoughts on the rapid rise of Paddy Pimblett, making it clear that while the English star has shown impressive development, he still needs more experience before earning a UFC title shot. Speaking on the MMA Arcade podcast, Whittaker compared Pimblett's resume to that of Arman Tsarukyan, noting that Tsarukyan's body of work inside the octagon is significantly deeper and more accomplished. That disparity, he suggested, is one of the key reasons Pimblett should continue taking high-level fights before stepping into championship contention. Whittaker explained that he would like to see Pimblett tested against elite competition such as Max Holloway, believing that matchups of that caliber would accelerate Pimblett's growth and properly prepare him for a potential title run. He praised Pimblett's recent performances, highlighting the fight in which Paddy dismantled his opponent with impressive composure and precision. Whittaker added that, even in the bout prior to that, fans saw a more focused and disciplined version of Pimblett, one who appeared to be fully locked in on executing the game plan. The Australian star emphasized that Pimblett's improvement has been exponential, acknowledging that the the 155-pound contender is developing at a rapid pace. Still, Whittaker believes the next step should be a matchup with top-tier veterans rather than an immediate title shot. In his view, fights against Holloway or even a showdown with former champion Charles Oliveira would not only be incredibly entertaining but would also serve as critical tests to determine whether Pimblett is truly ready for the elite level of the lightweight division. Whittaker noted that many potential matchups for Pimblett are exciting, especially a bout with Oliveira, which he described as crazy in terms of stylistic clash and fan appeal. He also acknowledged that a rematch with Holloway, or even a matchup with Tsarukyan, would make sense within the title picture, though he believes Tsarukyan is currently ahead in terms of resume and competitive readiness. Ultimately, Whittaker concluded that while he fully supports Pimblett's rise and wants to see him reach championship contention, it is essential that he first faces and defeats more experienced, high-level opponents. That path, he argued, would provide Pimblett with the seasoning and legitimacy necessary for a true, well-earned title opportunity. Move on to another news. Ilia Topuria is never short on confidence, and his latest interview once again showcased his ambition to chase the biggest possible fights in the UFC. When asked about his next potential opponent, the featherweight champion made it clear that he is open to multiple options, but he emphasized two names above all: Paddy Pimblett and Islam Makhachev. Topuria explained that his first preference is a fight with Paddy Pimblett, a matchup that has been discussed for years due to their long-standing rivalry and contrasting personalities. According to Ilia, a bout with Paddy is a fight the fans want, and one he would gladly take as soon as the UFC is willing to book it. He expressed interest in settling the tension between them inside the cage, stating that Pimblett is on his mind, and that he believes it would be a massive event. However, Topuria also made it clear that if the UFC does not allow him to move up to welterweight to challenge Islam Makhachev, he wants them to consider a unique alternative. He proposed the creation of a brand new title, a pound-for-pound championship held at a catchweight of 160 pounds. Topuria argued that this would allow him to face Makhachev without officially entering a new division and would create a historic matchup between two fighters widely regarded as among the best in the world. He elaborated on his vision for the next year, saying that if he cannot fight Makhachev immediately, he expects the UFC to schedule his welterweight move for the summer, allowing him to chase a third championship belt. Ilia reiterated his desire to compete across multiple divisions, claiming that he is ready to cement his legacy by becoming one of the most decorated champions in UFC history. Topuria concluded by saying the UFC has plenty of options for him and that he is prepared for whichever direction the promotion chooses. Whether it is Paddy Pimblett, Islam Makhachev, a new catchweight title, or a shot at a third division, Topuria appears energized and confident that major opportunities lie ahead. He ended the interview by stating simply, "Let's see what the future holds." Move on to another news. Arman Tsarukyan has opened up about what he considers one of the biggest mistakes of his career, reflecting on an incident that took place prior to his fight against Dan Hooker at UFC Qatar. In a recent interview, Tsarukyan spoke candidly about the tense moment during the pre-fight face-off when emotions escalated and he inadvertently delivered a forceful headbutt to Hooker. The moment caused visible concern at the time, and now Tsarukyan admits he mishandled the situation. He explained that the headbutt was not premeditated but rather the result of losing control during the first few seconds of confrontation. According to Tsarukyan, the intensity, adrenaline, and emotional charge of a big fight can sometimes override discipline, and in that moment, he reacted instinctively rather than rationally. Looking back, he recognizes how risky that impulse was, not only for Hooker, but for his own career. Tsarukyan acknowledged that if Dan Hooker had chosen to, he could have informed the UFC that he was injured during the face-off and withdrawn from the fight while still receiving his contracted purse. Tsarukyan emphasized that this possibility didn't even cross his mind in the moment, but afterward, he realized how serious the consequences could have been. A cancelled fight would have affected both athletes, potentially reshaping his path in the division. What impressed Tsarukyan the most, however, was Hooker's reaction. Instead of backing out, Hooker proceeded with the fight despite the unnecessary risk and the impact he sustained during the altercation. Tsarukyan praised Hooker's toughness, calling him a true true professional and a fighter with real heart. He expressed genuine respect, stating that Hooker showed tremendous courage by continuing without hesitation. Reflecting on the incident, Tsarukyan admitted that it was entirely his fault and a moment he regrets. He described it as a lesson in emotional control and professionalism, acknowledging that fighters must maintain composure even in the most heated moments. He assured fans that he has learned from the experience and aims to prevent anything similar from happening again. Tsarukyan's honesty and accountability have earned positive reactions across MMA circles, as he continues to solidify both his reputation and his position among the UFC's elite contenders.